How would you save your first $10,000? Would you invest into stocks? Would you invest into crypto? Or would you invest into real estate? And that's something that I did. So I invested my first 10K by investing into real estate. And I'm going to tell you how I saved my first 10K. And I'm also going to tell you exactly how I invested it. So let's start with how I actually saved my first 10K. Now, I was living in the Northeast and I had my main job where I was making maybe 40 or 50K a year, but I was also working a side job. I was working at Walmart early mornings, on my weekends, on my days off, because I knew that I wanted to invest into real estate. I knew that I wanted to house hack. And I also knew that I was moving to a new state. Not sure what state I was moving to yet, but I knew that this new state would hopefully come with some better prices that I could actually invest into real estate and live in a house hack. The key thing that actually helped me save my 1K was working that second job and then saving that entire paycheck, but also living below my means. So the money that I was able to save was put to a high yield savings account, which I have a link to Ally Bank, which is a great high yield savings account that I use to this day, in the description below. So go and check that out. But I also avoided lifestyle inflation. So yes, I was making an extra $500 to $1,000 or more dollars a month, but I did not add that money to my lifestyle. I did not go out here and buy a new car. I didn't go out here and, spend money on trips. I had a goal to save $10,000 because I knew what kind of house I want. I knew the kind of price range I wanted, and I knew that I can get an FHA loan. To be honest, I stacked my paychecks and I put them right into savings. And the best way to save your money, and I say this all the time, is to automate your savings. So every month, every paycheck, I had money automatically going to my high yield savings account. This was a separate savings account that's not even connected to my checking account. And honestly, I didn't even keep the card on me that was connected to that account. I made sure that card was left at home so I did not feel tempted to spend on that card and take away from my savings, so I would not be able to buy my house hack. So why did I choose to invest my money into a house hack? Now, if you don't know what a house hack is, it's basically living with a roommate. It's buying a house or living with a roommate. You could be renting and you're kind of still house hacking because you're paying less than you would actually pay if you were living alone. So house hacking for me looked like buying a duplex and living in one unit and renting out the other. House hacking for other people could be buying a big house and actually renting out each room and then in turn lowering their expenses. So house hacking is really just lowering your living expenses so that you can now put money towards investing or just save more money or put more money towards your debt. But house hacking, it literally just lowers your expenses. You're hacking your house. Now this was in 2020 and I didn't know much about stocks. I really didn't know much about investing, but I knew that house hacking sounds super intriguing because I'm all about saving. I'm all about a bargain. And I saw that the majority of my money was going to my apartment. I thought, what would happen if I was actually able to lower my living expenses or just cut them out completely? So house hacking just sounded like an amazing idea to me, and I had to do it. So I had this goal to save all this money, $10,000 or around that, so I can get into this house hack. Also, a big reason I chose house hacking was that I can get into real estate without spending a lot of money. Now with house hacking, you're actually able to apply for an FHA loan. Now FHA loan is not always recommended by a lot of people because you only put 3.5% down on the home, which means you pay PMI, the insurance that the mortgage company places on you just in case you're not able to pay it back. But you also don't have that much equity in the house when you put down 3.5%. But I was all for it because I knew that house hacking will ultimately lower my expenses. So I did want to kind of break this house hack deal down with you guys. So I eventually got an offer with a job out in the Midwest. And I said, oh my gosh, this is perfect because I can actually buy a house out here for 3.5% down with $10,000. So let me break this deal down for you guys. Let me know what you think about this deal in the comment section. Now this deal was back in 2021. Now, where I live, you can still find some houses around this price, but I don't know if you can find too many duplexes. Maybe they might cost a little bit more, but let me know what you guys think about this deal. All right, so I'm going to break it down. I have it on my computer. I'm just going to read it off my computer, all right? Here's my deal. So I purchased this house for $100,000. Yes, that's correct. $100,000. I purchased this duplex. It's an older duplex. My house is almost 100 years old. but I purchased for $100,000. My down payment was 3.5%, which is $3,500. Then my closing cost was about $6,500, or it was about $6,000, maybe $7,000. Total cash needed to close was about $10,000. Was it exactly $10,000? I don't remember, but it was definitely about $10,000, maybe $11,000, maybe $9,000, but it was about $10,000 for the amount of cash that I needed. When I bought this house, my mortgage was $650. That's including property taxes, insurance. Now it has gone up since then because property taxes go up, insurance goes up every year, and this was a surprise to me when I bought this house hack. So be sure to know what you're getting yourself into when you're buying a house. And the rental income in my neighborhood was about $950. So if you can see those numbers, I'm living for free. And that's why I bought a house hack, because I was able to lower my expenses. Now that I don't have to pay $650, or before when I was playing in the Northeast, $1,500 to rent, I can now put that money towards investing. I can now put that money towards saving. I can now put that money towards paying off my student loans even faster because I chose the house hack. Because I was able to avoid lifestyle inflation early on and save my paycheck that I got from my second job, and also save part of my paycheck that I had from my first job. So my first 10K turned into a home for me to live in, but it also generated income and then an increase in value over time. Don't live in the best neighborhood. It's a $100,000 house. What do you expect? But it's a decent neighborhood. And the value of this house is not increasing dramatically, but it's increasing. And that's what I did with my first 10K. And that's how I saved my first 10K. Now, is there anything that I would do differently if I knew what I knew now and I had 10K? Well, back in 2020, during COVID, maybe I would have invested $500 to $1,000 into stocks, because stocks were crashing back then. So if I would invest into those stocks back then, see where they are now, if I would have known more about stocks, because I had no idea about stocks. I know a lot more now. You know, I'm definitely investing in my Roth. I'm definitely investing in my brokerage account more right now because I know more. But if I would have known what I know today back then, I would have probably put more money towards stocks, but I still would have house hacked. And I'm so grateful that I did house hack. It has helped me out tremendously. Other than that, I don't think I would have done anything differently. And to be honest, house hacking is one of the best things that you can do, especially if you're a first-time homeowner, because you only get that FHA once, unless you move out of state, or there's other stipulations that you can actually get another FHA, but you only get that FHA once. And I would highly recommend that if you're a first-time home buyer, you look to house hack, because guess what? If you house hack a duplex, house hack a 4-family, house hack a 3-family, when you move out of that house hack into your single family home, or maybe into another house hack, you already have 4 units or 2 units on your books. So when I move out of this house hack, I'll have 2 full rental units, and I only paid 3.5% on this house. So let me know what you guys think about that. What are your final thoughts on this video? What do you think about house hacking? Do you think it's a good idea? Have you heard anything about it? Have you ever heard of house hacking? And if you have, are people saying good things about it? Are people saying bad things about it? Or are you house hacking right now? And how's your journey going? If you get anything out of this video, and I always say, if you get anything out of this video, it's that you should house hack. I think house hacking is one of the most powerful things that we can do, especially nowadays when it's so hard to find in your budget on what you can lower. But with house hacking, you can lower your housing expense, which is one of the highest expenses that we have in our budget. And my house hack was kind of unique because I'm in the Midwest, and a lot of people don't want to live in the Midwest. So maybe you have to look to live in different areas to house hack. I would not be able to house hack in the Northeast. You know, those are $600, $400, $500, $700,000 duplexes out there. Something I couldn't afford. That's something I still can't afford. But I can afford a $100,000 duplex. I can afford a $150,000 or $200,000 duplex. But make sure you run the numbers. Always run the numbers. Don't just jump blindly into something because I'm saying you should do it. Always run the numbers. Make sure that it's rentable. Make sure it's a good house. And make sure when you move, you're actually able to rent it out and get a solid return on your money. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.